Hello everyone, that Manga Kid here to do a very quick first impressions on Arakawa Under the Bridge by Hikaru Nakamura. This is a vertical release. These are 2-in-1s. This first volume is quite thin, but the second volume is thicker and a kind of a regular 2-in-1 size. But they are all going to be 2-in-1s. There are quite a lot of color pages in here that are really, really gorgeous. But I'm going to start off with the quality of this release. Not impressed at all, which is really disappointing to me because Verticle usually is on top of things. As you can see, for some reason, this like plastic film that is like the cover, like I don't know how that happened, but it's peeling off. So my cover is like ripping pretty much, and I don't know how that happened. It wasn't like that when it came to me, and I just read it once and then put it back on my shelf. I pulled it off my shelf, and this was like that. So clearly, it's just not well made, and I could tell the second I bought it. Like the pages are not the regular quality that Vertical I'm used to from Vertical. It's very flimsy, and I said this in the video where I picked this up. There are so many color pages in this. And I'm starting to wonder if like they're trying to distract from the really terrible quality of this volume by putting in a bunch of glossy color pages, because I was so disappointed. The second I picked this up and flipped through it, I went, wow, this is really terrible quality. It's disappointing because Vertical is one of my favorite publishers, and I'm really upset with how bad this one is. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but they've clearly downgraded in quality, at least on this series. But other than that, the series itself, I would absolutely recommend checking out. I watched the anime for Arakawa Under the Bridge a while ago. I was a bit nervous about the manga because I wasn't sure if the humor was going to translate. It absolutely does. This volume in particular has one of the funniest scenes from any anime or manga I have ever consumed ever. It is, I'm not going to spoil it, and maybe I'm just weird, but I find it so funny. I laughed to the point where I was in pain for over 5 minutes. I couldn't even turn the page because every time I looked at the page to try and turn it, I started laughing again. I couldn't handle it. I did the same when I watched the anime a couple years ago too. That scene is just so hysterically funny, and the worst part is I knew it was coming when I started, as it was getting closer to it. I knew it was coming, and I didn't think I was going to react that way, but I couldn't help myself. It is so funny. Basically, this is a story about this guy here. He is from a very rich family. His father is very successful, and his family's motto is don't owe anybody anything. You can never be indebted to anyone. So one day he loses his pants. Some kids steal his pants and throw it onto the bridge, and so he's trying to get them back. This girl happens to help him get his pants back and then save his life as he falls into the river. And so he's indebted to her, and she decides that in order for him to pay her back, he's got to be her boyfriend. Now, she lives in a cardboard box structure under this bridge. So technically, she is homeless. And so he's like really confused as to what's going on, doesn't understand the point of this. He's trying to like help her out by way of like, oh, I'll pay you back by buying you a house. No, she claims to be from Venus, I believe. She's an alien from Venus. She lives under this bridge, and she is not the only one living under this bridge. There is a whole whackload of zany characters who also live under this bridge. So there is the mayor, who is a kappa, which, if you don't know, is a Japanese folklore character. He's a man in a kappa suit who claims to be a real kappa, and he's the mayor of the town under the bridge. And there is a priest who is dressed as a woman, but he is a massive man, an ex-military guy who just dresses like a nun. And there's a dude who wears a star head, and he never takes it off. It's a mask that is shaped like a star, and there's some kids, there's some other weird people. It is just zany and hilarious. It is short chapters, and if you've seen the anime, you know it's like short little bursts of individual stories about what's happening under the bridge. There's the mayor. And it's all connected though, like it does kind of reference the stories before, so it's not completely episodic in that way. It does kind of flow nicely. And it's basically this guy who now has this girlfriend who he has to live under the bridge as well because, according to her, they have to live in close proximity. I don't know, but he's now under the bridge. He's this rich kid who's always like been successful and never had any issues in his life really, but all of a sudden he has to interact with these crazy individuals, and it is so funny. The art is really interesting. It's not fantastic, but I enjoy it. I think it works for this series. And like I said, there's these gorgeous color pages throughout it as well, that are just really nice. Um, if you're looking for a comedy, this is not a 4-koma, which is surprising because this absolutely could be a 4-koma series if the author had wanted it to be. But it's short, little, hilarious stories with zany characters and an interesting setting. And every time you think you know what's going on, you have no idea what's going on. The punchline always ends up being something absolutely ridiculous. So aside from the actual physical quality of this release, I highly, highly, highly recommend picking this up. It is so funny, so enjoyable. And yeah, if you've read this or watched the anime or are interested in it and want to chat about it in the comments, definitely let me know. I am here for talking about this manga all day, every day. It's so, so funny. Thanks for watching. See ya.